Living in the absolute universe is actually so buns, especially as a normal human. You want to go for a walk? Can't do that because these the craziest overbites of all time, known as the party animals, try to rob you for your $5, your Nokia, and your Jordans from Walgreens. And you, the viewer, I want you to close your eyes and just imagine this scenario real quick. You're being robbed by one of the party animals, and then Batman suddenly comes out of nowhere to stop him. Now, I want you to think about this. What is the first thing you expect him to do? Not pull off an axe from his chest and then proceeds to cut his hand off. To be honest, it is that dude's fault. He really went up to Batman with a meat cleaver. And to be honest, if you look between Florida and the absolute universe, there is literally no difference. Like, it's literally crocodiles out here the size of literal men just chomping on people. Like, this is not okay. And all I can say is I'm happy for Bruce. At least he has one parent. But we all know how petty Darkseid can get, so I can imagine he's gonna take that away pretty soon. And to a person who reads comics, like, if you explain Absolute Batman, like the first couple of issues to Absolute Batman to like a non-comic reader, they would think like that's as worse as it gets, right? No, Arkham is literally experimenting on people. They've experimented on 26 people before they even got to experiment 27, which was Bruce Wayne. And I can only imagine that all the other experiments are gonna make up Batman's rogues gallery. And don't even get me started on Selena Kyle. Anyways, back to the experiments. And the ops did you dirty. The ops strip you, make you bald, look like a white chocolate milk dud, run experiments on you, but the worst of all, they hang the fit up in front of you in your cell. They got my goat looking crazy. He talking to the suit like it's the Great Goblin mask. Coward, we have a new world to conquer. And then when Batman gets over that and he breaks out of his cell, guess who he immediately runs into after that? Bane, of all people. And it's just like, pack it up, because you're not gonna win this, bro. Cause the first time he got caught, he got his head beat, bro. So right now, Batman is trying to leave, but then Bane, and the whole time as he's putting the beats on Bruce, he's like, oh, we're the same. No, we're not. You take steroids. Dudes beat your ass one time and start calling you their son. This shit is actually tragic. And out of nowhere, a legendary save is on play. Croc jumps on Bane, bites him, and then whacks him in the face with the tail. Literally two-tapping Bane. This shit funny as hell. Unc cannot hang. And after Bruce and Waylon reunite, they both leave. And after that, Bruce was so pissed, he literally hijacked a news station and called an ISO on Bane in front of everybody, and even dropping his set. They already doing my nigga John crazy. He took a blast of 2016 air, straight heat to the face, and a couple of panels later, he looked like he'd been to Waterloo. That whole situation got him questioning why people do the things they do. Money, duh, nigga. And to be honest, John's life might be worse than Batman's. Like, just imagine being able to hear people's thoughts suddenly. And then John starts to try to inhale more of these colors, which makes him start straight geeking. Got him straight hacking up like he had asthma in Gold House. And if you ask me what's going on in this panel, I cannot tell you. Just know this is a DC character and his life will make a turn for the worst. The two things I love the most about this comic is like the art and like the abstract part of it. And then you mean to tell me the Martian could literally dead hop from my body into somebody else's? Because one time there was a he actually hopped from John's body to the body and then starts looking around his memories to see like what caused him to go down the road he took. And as John is trying to talk to the shooter, the Martian is he finds this dark swirl in the dude's head, and he actually gets rid of it, and the dude comes back to his senses. But yeah, dude gotta get off the force. His body can't been off since he started. And later on in the comic, John and Martian see this big smoke cloud above the city. They get down to the city and they're seeing all these random people start all these random fires, and they go to start saving people. Yeah, they better than me. I would have stayed my ass home. And after they're done saving as many people as they can from the homeless shelter, this burning woman like walks around the corner, and she's basically a messenger for the white Martian saying, and after the message, shorty dies right after. No bullshit. The next day, the white Martian literally takes his head off, makes it the sun, I guess. Like, when I first saw this, I could not believe it. You got a problem with the green Martian. Why the fuck are you making it our problem too? The heat was so bad, literal steam was seeping from everybody's ears. Like, dog, we are in Arizona. Why did you make it hotter? Later that night, a mob is at John's house. John is trying his best to fight off the mob while the Martians fight. But finally, the green Martian gets the upper hand on the white Martian and literally cuts the white Martian's head open with the moon, thus ending the fight. Also, issue 6 leaves us on a cliffhanger where the white Martian could be controlling John's son now. The story starts in Brazil in front of this mine talking about, I low-key forgot, my bad. But some of these peacekeepers tell these people to start mining, and when they enter the mine, they see multiple mine carts filled full with diamonds, and they ask each other like, yo, who did this? They don't know either, but soon they just tell each other to walk out with the diamonds, say nothing, cash them in. Then one of the peacekeepers is like, yo, y'all done already? Then the comment cuts to the previous night where John is talking to Superman. Superman asks, what do you want from me? And John says, join us. Nigga, no, I don't know y'all. Like, you mean to tell me you just saw his eyes glow blue? No human on Earth can do that. You don't know who this dude is and you ask him to join you? Yeah, nah. But John explains why he wants help. He goes on to explain that the place these people are living at runs on suffering. Superman asks, how do you know? They literally work at a mine. There aren't too many places where you work at a mine and have good work conditions. And after that, their conversation ends. Superman walks back into the mine to dig out the diamonds. Cut back to the present where they were doing John the worst way. One of the peacekeepers is beating his ass and he goes, so one of you likes breaking the peace. And it's just like, oh my God, shut up. The comment cuts back to Superman asleep in a shack where these glowing wires are moving around him. Then cut back to outside. Yeah, these niggas call reinforcements. Like, dog, for what? All they did was walk out with diamonds. And then my nigga came out in the fit. I cannot lie. The absolute universe has not missed with the absolute trinity. I mean, look at my nigga just standing there looking clean. And just know, when he started throwing punches, niggas went flying. And then he starts saving people. And then out of nowhere, he gets hit with electricity, which upset him enough to straight boil everybody. How he killed nobody with that, I do not know. And holy shit, what is this angle? As he stands up, he gets cuffed by Lois. And then she ups pole. Him not being worried about whatever she got going on, he checks the cuffs confused as hell, almost making her fall in the process. Him doing that caused Lois to get more annoyed, and in return, she shot him, which literally does nothing but temporarily stun him. Then the Lazarus soldiers up the poles they got. Knowing one of their comrades is right there, they open fire anyway, causing Superman to jump in front of her. And Lois shoots him a second time. And then he's like, could you stop doing that? I'm trying to help you. And she goes, so now you're talking to me. Also, this red dust cape Superman has is so cool. That's what he's using to protect Lois with. And since the Lazarus are getting too close, Superman flies away. And who in their right mind thought it was okay to make a hella tank? What even is the military in the absolute universe? And these dickheads shoot rockets at Superman and Lois, which made them crash, but I guess the cape absorbed the damage, I guess. And oh my God, this bitch hit his ass a third time with the... At this point, I would have put a hole through her head. And Supes is like, yo, I just saved your life and you hit me with that again? And then they start arguing over if Lazarus is good or not. This is such a dumb argument. Obviously not. If one of the peacekeepers got a chance to harm innocent people for no reason, they would. A fire starts, Supes saves people, freezes the fire with his freeze breath. His suit unlocks the cuffs, then leaves. Yeah, believe it or not, Lois says he had no casualties after this. Oh, remember what I said earlier? If one of the peacekeepers got a chance to harm innocent people for no reason, they would. Yeah, Chris Smith did that. Now, Chris's deal is that he's mentally unstable. Why they hired him, I don't know. But Supes found out about what Chris did They made this shit look like a horror movie. He speed blitzing tanks and no metal doors. He wasn't waiting for nobody. And after he melted the metal door, he started melting their suits. He was talking straight crazy, talking about some fight him. And the whole time he's interrogating him, he's slowly melting his suit. And so his suit tells him that Chris is being held in a compound in the Nevada desert. The comic cuts to Soup's landing in Smallville and says, "Fuck Smith, I'm afraid of what I'll do to him." So issue 7 starts off with some Omega soldiers sneaking around in the compound in the Nevada desert. As they're looking around, suddenly Brainiac decides to play with his food and starts shrinking the skin off of one of the dudes, and another soldier starts vomiting up his own bones. And as the last dude runs away while shooting backwards, Brainiac enlarged his hand, just for shits and giggles, and then calls in these sea urchin thingies. Then they reveal Brainiac. This nigga is so ugly. Yeah, with Brainiac moving like this, take me out the game. I want y'all to know something. If I was ever dropped into the absolute universe, I will stay far away from Gateway City. So the first issue starts off with this upside down fleshy pyramid in the middle of the ocean. And to be honest, if my boss had the nerve to tell me to step outside, stand in any distance of that, I'm slapping that nigga in the face. I promise you that will be the day I quit, because I am not reporting on this. Soon after, these dragon lizards start attacking people, and that's when she shows up. She cuts a few of them in half, then does this cool ass landing. And when I said the absolute trinity has not missed yet, that was no lie, cause look at this. But my hype for her almost instantly takes a nosedive when she dips her fingers in blood and rubs it all over her face. But my hype goes up for her a bit when she does this. Sometime after that, she walks over to these soldiers, and then she asks dude if he's the leader, and he's like, "Nah, I'm new to this," or some shit. And as she's talking to these soldiers, the pyramid starts to open up, and then comes out Harbinger Prime. Now, if you ask me who this dude is in like the main universe, I could not tell you. At this point, make rent $10 a month, because this is not worth it is not worth living here. The only way y'all could get me to live here is if I was getting paid $1 billion every day. So these two end up scrapping for a bit until Diana gets hit by Harbinger's lasers. And after that, Diana finally decides, you know what? I'm gonna stop holding back, and pulls out this cool ass red lasso. And the way I see it, she should have pulled this shit out before. Diana weaves out of the way, dodging the lasers again, and catches his ass with the lasso. Got his ass sizzling worse than an STD. And then Diana says, "That was but a taste," or some shit, and save yourself. And I fucking hate when heroes do that. They give this very obviously evil character a second chance, and it's like, no, he is trying to destroy or / take over the city, and you want to give this thing a chance to live? No. Harbinger takes disrespect to that. He sends out more of those snake lizard thingies. Diana spins her lasso to get him off. She wraps him up with the lasso. He's like, fine, uncle. And I guess he just leaves. And a few minutes later, everything is fine and dandy. Diana's talking to Steve. Bitch ass nigga. Diana's talking to Steve. And you know what? They hear a shriek outside. And you know what Diana sees when she steps outside? Y'all know how I said I need to get paid $1 billion per day? Fuck the money, I'm just leaving Gateway City as a whole. Diana literally in like a few pages goes on to describe one of this thing's powers. Once it shrieks, it removes the fear from you, causing you to just walk into its mouth. What? In what universe is that fair? Diana flies up to it, throws her sword into the thing, and then wraps it up in her lasso, which doesn't really last long, which to be expected. The thing pulls out her sword and tosses it away, and Diana pulls out an axe from her small ass pocket. She cuts some of the tentacles, but then another set of tentacles grabs her arm.
She then says a spell that makes her arm disappear. For the context of her arm disappearing thing, she sacrificed her right arm to send Steve home from hell. But luckily for her, she has a prosthetic arm. She flies up to where the cameraman and the news reporter are, and then she, no bullshit, turns to the camera and starts speaking to the audience. And then she's talking about some bullshit saying, I need your help and talk to your neighbors, this yada yada shit like that. Me? My bad, cause my ass is not listening. And after the yap sesh, she tosses down this vial of green mist, or what looks like it, and it spreads throughout what seems to be the whole city. A bit later, Diana stops by this shop where these two women, I don't know, are witches, I guess. So Diana asks for all these ingredients for a ritual. And once Diana gets all these ingredients, she has the nerve to ask Steve and these other two witches, can I have some of y'all blood for this ritual? Fuck no. Anyways, the ritual is done and Diana gets her arm back. And then Diana steps outside, does some magic spell on her Buster sword, and then she enlarged the sword, which is cool, by the way. Like, she literally enlarges her sword to the size of like a small house. And then she flies at the thingy monster, forgot his name. And then she straight cuts his ass in half.